Yes, we're live. Let's go. So, people had sent in some questions. They submitted it through this forum, which is on our mailing list. I'm going to drop this form in if anybody has questions that they want to send through. And we're just going to go through these questions, y'all. If you're joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, on where else is it? YouTube, Facebook. Are we on LinkedIn? I don't know. Drop your questions into the chat, but I'm gonna kind of start off with the questions. So my name's Mike. We help people get jobs through Job Ready English, which is cool. We have had, I've been doing it since 2013. I think we've now had over 15,000 people take our courses. We've helped loads of people, and that's pretty cool. I'm just wondering if you have asked a question, then let me know if you're here. And if you're not, then we're just going to start burning through these questions. Curious to know where you're from, what you're doing, if this is good, if you'd like more of this, basically anything to do with jobs. So I'm just getting, I think we had about 9 questions already submitted. Let's have a look. A lot of people asking about CVs. What's my CV like? What do you think about my CV? What do you think about my interview script? Interview script here. So let's get this up. Okay, cool. So I'm going to share my screen with you, let you know what's going on. So share screen, window. Nice. How's this going to work? All right, cool. So first of all, I will share this document in the chat. Some people have asked me if I could get a response. Yeah, my answer is pretty much no. I'm happy to share this document with people who are interested in looking at it. For the information on CVs, it's all been redacted because obviously I'm not going to be, this is something that's going to be up on our YouTube. So I'm not going to be document. So I'm not going to be sharing stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to do my best to answer these questions, man. Okay, first of all, so Christina, what would you recommend as an answer for situational questions for a person with 10 years of gap in employment with few good companies on a CV like Thomson Reuters, UBS, still mostly for probation up to 6 months periods, which will not be prolonged? Thank you. So Christina, first of all, are you here? I don't think I can see the comments coming up, but I'm guessing that you have had a big gap in employment, potentially because you have had kids. What I would say to you is, why have I had a 10-year gap? It mainly is just to be honest, just to kind of say what's been going on, why you're encouraged to get back into the workplace right now, what you used to enjoy, what you've enjoyed now, what you've learned from motherhood. Of course, I'm presuming that that is the reason. I think honesty goes a long way and is quite refreshing. There, we can spend a lot of time thinking about what we should say and what I think is a good answer to what people are going to think, but just don't think like that, if that makes sense. Hasnan, I really struggle with situational video questions. There's one that came up like, manager has misunderstood information and so her analysis is incorrect. What do you do? Or how do you build trust with stakeholders, especially those in other time zones? Your manager has asked you to stay late, but you have a dinner with friends. What do you say? So this is something I actually dealt with in our SJT Sorted course. And I want to sell to you. Yes, I want to sell this to you. I want to share with you a framework that I use. This is in the course. And I'll explain this to you. A lot of people struggle with SJT video questions. The reason why I make courses is generally because so many people ask me about it. I just get bored and I just make a course. So when people ask me the question, I can say I made a course, so I don't have to keep repeating myself. So this is a 3-step framework for answering SAT questions. Step number 1 is what's the competency? So what's the skill that the question is testing? So for example, manager has misunderstood information and so her analysis is incorrect. What do you do? So in this case, the skill is personality, right? It's a personality trait or it's an interpersonal skill. Okay, cool. We understand that. Then we can go through this kind of sub-step framework, which is who's involved, what do they need, who gets priority if there's more than one person, what are your responsibilities and obligations, what is your position and the extent of your authority, what is the wider context of the role that you're applying to in real life. So I'm actually going to put this next to the answer. Bing, bing, bing. So when we're kind of talking about this, so who's involved? Well, you and your manager. What do they need? Well, we don't know too much. I'm sure this question is longer than this, but probably your manager needs you to do your job. If you're doing some sort of analysis, then potentially you're going to be presenting to a client. This is probably all about, client presentation, something like that. Who gets priority if there is more than one person? Well, your manager would get priority, but in the hierarchy, it's going to be your client, right? So, what are your responsibilities and obligations? Well, to do what your manager tells you, but also to deliver the best experience to your client and therefore the best research, the best analysis. The position and extent of your authority is probably just that you're a graduate. And what's the wider context of the role you're applying to in real life? Well, this is kind of like everybody makes mistakes, right? So say for example, your manager is about to give a client presentation. You're like, oh my God, what do I do? They've made a mistake. Well, you probably point that out to them, right? To just save them looking like a fool. If your manager chooses not to listen to you, bearing in mind, you can make an observation. This is not necessarily a judgment, but you can just say, look, Susan, I've actually just gone through the numbers and I think that you might have made a mistake. Is it possible that we can, review this or go back through this, or maybe kind of miss out that part of the presentation? This all depends upon timeframes. So this is a good way of looking at answering SJT questions. I tend to find that particularly when you struggle with something, as you're practicing them, say if you've got an online test pack, then you can break these down into individual steps and actually write it out, and this gives you the ability to explain it much better. Jay, how can I find the perfect fit role with short-time diverse experience? So I haven't got any more information for this question, but I'm guessing that you're a student. I'm guessing that you're a graduate, and therefore you're talking about, I've had, some short-term jobs, some short-term experiences, and therefore how can I make sure that I am a good fit for it? And the simple answer for this is just look at your job description. So we all have a limited number of skills, we all have a limited number of things which we can do. But if we look at our experiences, then we can start to think, right, how am I a good fit? Where have I demonstrated good teamwork? Where have I demonstrated good finance skills? And by looking into this, we can really make anything fit into the role, right? So that's what you do. What does the job description say? What are the ideal skills for that job description? And how can we fit our skills accordingly? Yeah. So, Hamida, dear Mike, hope you're doing well. I graduated from banking and finance from Sheffield Hallam University about 9 months ago, and I don't have work experience in the UK. And my work experience relates to my home country, really common for international students, Iran. And now I'm actively applying for a job. So far, I've applied for 30 jobs. I couldn't get an offer. I'm attaching my CV. Please give me tips and help me that how I can enhance my CV. I don't think that you attached a CV, if I'm right, because I didn't see one. Hi, Mike. Chintan here. Completed this interview yesterday. These are the questions I asked when I followed the script. I have not spoken 100% of the. Oh, I have not spoken 100% of the scripts. Just review it. So we'll come back to this. Oh, what's happening? Let's have a look at this. So I had quite a few people ask me about their CVs. If you have access to this document, I will make sure that it goes up on YouTube afterwards. Here's a free CV template and instructions that you can just make a copy of it yourself. It looks a little something like this. So a lot of times when I look at CVs, I like CVs just in this format: simple titles, simple headlines, and also you can use the key skills section for the job to meet the keywords that are in the job description. It's a really simple way of adapting your CV to whatever the job that is required. You want to make sure that your bullet points are kind of results orientated. If you did sales, how much sales? If you wrote reports, how many reports? But you just want to keep it short, sharp, and to the point. The only switch up is if you're doing something which is engineering or highly technical, when I'd actually bring these skills up to the top. I never do personal statements because I find they're not particularly useful unless maybe you are a senior professional. And basically, we're just thinking about this, which is how can we hack an application tracking system? So, 90% plus of CVs are screened by automated screening systems. So you're not doing this for a person. My recommendation is JobScan. I really like them. You can get a couple of free scans, but you can make sure that how you can actually physically see how closely matched your CV is to the job description. I'll show you an example. Here's one I did earlier. So this is JobScan. It's not fair comment. It's not the cheapest. But if you want to get a job, I think sometimes it makes a lot of sense to do what I call pay to play. So it's not cheap. It costs about $90. You can do it for $50 a month, but it is absolutely, in my books, the bee's knees. I have had a paid account multiple times. We don't at the moment because I don't really do CV reviews. It's not something that I have the time to do, but it still spits out some absolutely quality bits. So you've got everything here. You get, I think, 5 free scans a month. So you paste in your resume, you can do your cover letter and also the job description. And then what it gives you is something that looks a little something like this. So basically, it tells you how closely matched you are. You can see here, I worked through on a one-to-one with someone's CV. So they started off at like a 27% match and they got to 68. JobScan asked for a 75, but I don't feel that's really necessary. This was for a director role. Um, and what it does is that essentially it will say, what skills do you still need to match for when you pay? These are all kind of unlocked. What soft skills? It also has a really cool function that I love, which is called power edit, basically where you can go in, live edit your CV and it will just automatically start updating your match rate. I find personally I'd shoot for anything over 50%. You can do 75, 80%, but I don't really see it making a lot of difference. Bearing in mind, I'll work with people and then they'll say, like, I got an interview, I got a job. So I can see whether that's an effective thing to use. So I had a few people send me over their CVs. Where are we? So I've tried my best to obfuscate people's personal details. So the first one is, hi, how is my resume for a fresh graduate? So this already tells me that this is not a good way to proceed. You want to be tailoring your CV for a role, not just like, hi, this is my CV that I send to everybody. This is already, I can tell, is not going to be great. I've already looked at this CV. So, and I tried to remove the personal details. This is obviously a CV from abroad. Though I absolutely love this young man's picture, which comes up here. It's not something that we do here in the UK. Something that I can already see. So when you take a PDF over to a Google Doc, we don't have two columns. So OCR can optical character recognition will basically read from left to right. So this would make no sense. It would be like contact, work experience, personal name, internship, project. Like it's not a good look. Um, One thing that I would say is you're really looking to put as many keywords as possible. So people will put absolutely everything that they did in the job, which is understandable, right? But what we're really looking to do is to make sure that you are actually relating this to the job that is required. And there's little things. So, for example, it will say like, "I helped in doing these tests." Cool. How many tests did you do? How many progress reports did you do? Quantifying something and creating a picture is something that's really important. The rest of this, I can already tell that this CV runs really long. So, for example, projects completed, does this relate to the job that you're doing? Leadership events. I'll often sometimes see students do what I call is overcompensating. So they'll put way too much information onto their CV. So I'd really thin that down, put your key skills on here, follow through the template that I've used, and you can massively improve on this. And don't put it into two columns. It's Abel. Hi, Abel. So Abel sent through a question and he was like, how's my CV for finance business consulting position or any other related field? So you would not do it like this. The way that you would do it is that you would do it for one job role at a time. You wouldn't do it for multiple job role approach of sending the same cover letter, the same CV, and it becomes very frustrating. You might think it's easy to apply for lots of jobs, but it can really smash people down when they're just consistently getting rejections. So, for example, here, right. So, this is different items of work experience. What are the relevant modules that you took? Fluent in English and Portuguese, student of the month. This is good. I like this. It's short. Probably what I would do with this again, I took this over from PDF to Word, that you would always submit a CV as a PDF. So this is good because there are quantifiable figures in here, lots of quantifiable figures. So I really like this CV. I just want to put in the key skills learned that would help you to adjust your keywords to different roles. So yeah, very nice, Abel. Excellent. So Olu sent this through. Yeah, this is a really common thing that I see where someone just puts a massive list of skills and competencies. You don't need, listen, if you're going to do a professional profile, make it quantifiable. So, Olu has 7 years of professional working experience as a business analyst working across three Fortune 500 companies. Cool. That's a really kind of grippy first word, first sentence. But just something like this, I don't like this in Olu. I'm not picking on you, but this is really common, right? So someone will say like dynamic and innovative and extensive experience and high impact. And I'm like, I'm reading all of that, just thinking, what does this even mean? Like, what is this? Um, and it's not helpful. So you can definitely, I would chop all of this. I just get rid of that. Analyzed. So this is cool. Yeah. So what does this mean as a number? If you're improving a handover process, how can you quantify this? How can you make it understandable? Does it satisfy the caveman test? The caveman test is basically if I don't understand it, a confused mind says no. This is nice. This is cool. So yeah, this is short. Want to have your key skills in there. I like stuff like this. This is good. Yeah, that all looks good. Languages, IT skills, key modules. This isn't bad actually. Yeah, just chop this. Get rid of that. Cool. Let's just quickly. Oh, let's just quickly have a rest. I had a load. I had 11. I'm just going to check this interview script very quickly because I don't want to reveal. Uh, Let me just remove this personal information. Yeah. I don't think read post. Cool. Guys, if you got any questions, just put it up in the chat. Okay. This looks fine. Cool. Let's share this. Let's just see what other questions there were. So this is question 10. Oh, Jennifer. Then we had Jennifer's question. All right. Cool. So this was an interview script that somebody wanted me to have a look at. Cool. So first of all, this is a personal introduction. This is slightly cheating because he has worked with me before. So, the personal intro is like, who are you and what are you doing? Where are you currently? What have you learned? Where would you like to learn? Where would you like to work? Then talking about experiences. So this is all cool. That's cool. Tell us about a time you had to work in a team. How did you approach this and what was the outcome? So during my bad. Part of a team of 4 that had to prepare. So when and where a report on developing the expansion plan for an MNC company to a new location. We chose Starbucks. Task. Our task was to find potential countries where the MNC. Yeah, so don't use abbreviations. Multinational company. I understand that, but don't abbreviate. If you're going to abbreviate, explain what it means. Tasks to find what we also had to create a strategy for how they didn't capture market share. Firstly, I've got everyone. So, what's the skill? Teamwork. Got everyone's contact details and availability so we could have our first online meeting. I realized the team was looking for someone to lead. Listened to them. I called a vote. She unanimously put me in charge. Boom. I divided tasks based on team members' strength and expertise. I explained to each team member what they needed to do before sending off. Yeah, I see this a lot. Like, who's in your team? How many people are there? What are their names? Try and personalize it a little bit because it sounds really rigid otherwise. One of our team members was researching countries that have a strong coffee culture and potential target audiences for Starbucks. He came up with 3 potential countries. I chose to conduct SWOT PESTLE. These shared my insights with the team, and collectively we carefully evaluate. Give me some detail. Just even a little piece, a little part of the story, something that paints a picture. Very often I'll see interview scripts and they're just super flat. They're like, and then we did this, and then we did that. It's just make it a little bit more kind of engaging. Something interesting that we found was, here's an interesting fact. Just a little micro story in there is good. Other team members, gathering data, offered to help my team members. Okay, cool. We received a good score. What was the score? Career program designed to support your learning and growth. Tell us about a time you went above and beyond to learn about a topic or develop a new skill. 2019, design engineer. Manager gave me to train them. Yeah, again, who are they? As I joined the company 2 months before, that same year, he introduced a new training program. So the only person who knew about what? To train them to do what? That doesn't make sense. First, I also introduced drawing and purchasing teams for team and showed them different. Yeah, this is good, but I'm trying to understand what they're being trained to do. Yeah. Yeah, a bit of work on that one. Um, Second one's good. More detail, the better when it comes to interview scripts, for sure. Doesn't mean you need to write more, but just something that has some sort of impact. And the last question is Jennifer. I have 4 different job titles on my resume. They don't directly relate to each other. I get the question what my vision path goal was and is. My honest answer is that I actually have no idea. Yeah, I get that. What do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a polar bear. What I really want because I feel I fit in different positions, being able to work so I can provide for myself is my main goal. Boom. Hashtag living the life. Of course, this is not the answer hiring manager wants to hear. How do I tackle this question without lying about ambition? Yeah. So this is a good example of kind of playing the game. Sometimes people ask me about questions and they're like, how do I answer this without lying when I really don't give a hoot? The truth is that what your vision, path, and goal is to work at that company and develop within that company, right? That's what they want to hear. So you have to align with that. What's your progression within the company? I can understand people say, I just want to be honest. And I think, yeah, that's fine. There's a difference between honesty and full disclosure. So the way to think about this is like, why do you want to do this job? Where would you be in 5 years' time? Well, I would have qualified and trained and be leading a team. And this is something that I'm deeply interested in. In the same respect where you get asked a question like, well, you seem to have had 7 jobs in the past year. Why is it? And it's just like, I engaged in this. I found that it wasn't really something that I was interested in, but all of my experiences have brought me to this point, and I feel like this is something that I really want to do. Bang. There you go. All right, guys. So that's all of the questions submitted. Um, don't know if you guys have got any questions for me, pop it into the chat. Just going to check my email quickly to see if any questions have come through there. If you like this video, let me know. Drop me a note down in the comments below. We're always guided by what it is that you guys want. If you don't like the video, then I'm just going to be like, oh well, I guess I won't do that anymore. Let's have a look. Yeah, so no other questions have come through. Wish you the best of luck. If you want to know more about us and what we do, check out the links down in the description below. I think they should come up. And yeah, maybe see you in episode 2. Bye. Ah, hi Hasnan. Tell me about how to match with job description. Well, I mean, just read the job description. Not to put too fine a point in it. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful, right? But what a lot of people do is you can get a job description which is really not good. So I had this on a one-to-one earlier and it was really vague, but you can look up like what does a financial analyst do? What does an IT support engineer do? You can look up that stuff and then you can put in the key skills, the experiences into your CV. So sometimes you've got to look a little bit beyond that. Um, so yeah, what are the key skills that are needed within the graduate scheme? What are they asking for? If the graduate scheme isn't that helpful, then just look beyond that. But a lot of times it's just about research. We have Google, we can pretty much find out anything, we can learn about anything. So sometimes you've got to go a little bit deeper in your research. Bearing in mind, if you do a good job with your CV, then you won't have to keep sending your CV because someone will like your CV and give you an interview. So it's always worth front loading the task at hand and just putting in the effort there and then rather than just thinking, oh, I'm just going to get my CV done quickly and send it out. It's no point because people aren't going to be responding to your CV, right? Oh, that was fun. So questions do come through. Anybody else? Any more questions? I can see that some people are trying to access other people's CV through the document. You can't because it's their CV. So yeah. Anybody else? No. Cool. Well, listen, guys. If you've enjoyed this, like this video, drop me a comment down below on the document that I will share the link to in the YouTube video. You can submit questions potentially for week 2. Same time, same place next week. Maybe. Okay, bye.